Good morning everyone, how are we doing? My name is James Welsh. I am the author of Corroborating Evidence, the UFO Investigation of the Millennium. Published on July the 8th, 2014. Today is the 18th of May, 2022, so a lot has taken place since I first published Corroborating Evidence way back in 2014. And when I say a lot has happened, I'm talking about I've had another 8 years to add on to the research, which had tallied up at that point to 14 years. So we're now on 22 years of research into the series of events which took place during December 1999. And I made a point of specifically making an effort to study the STS-103 Hubble mission images. Now I want to point your attention here to Elizondo and the claims that he is currently making regarding what the Pentagon and the government know about UAPs. And there is a massive black hole at the middle of his statements. And I want to point them out because this guy, I'm trying to warn everyone, no one's listening to me. I'm trying to warn everyone that this man is spreading inaccurate information, inaccurate, obsolete, 100% null and void information. So all I can understand from this is that we have Elizondo who's trying to he's came forward and he looks very serious, very legit, and very, focused on getting this information out. This man will stop at nothing to inform the world that the government are still trying to figure out what UAPs are. And do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if over the last few years that this whole ATIP thing came about as a result of my research and me skirting around for years, building up to this, and they've went, oh shit, we need to do something. I wouldn't be surprised. But the bottom line is these official NASA records still remain, and they fly in the face of what everything this man has to say. So let's listen to him.
First obvious question is it one of our secret technologies? And the answer is quite succinctly no. And how do we know that? Well, for several reasons. First of all, I had access to all those programs, and those type of programs, you don't typically test these type of secret aircraft in and around areas where you're doing active maneuvers. You tend to test them at secret test ranges like Area 51. You certainly don't endanger pilots' lives by testing this type of secret technology without coordinating that through our joint staff. So we very quickly realized it wasn't our technology. The second option, as Charlie, you mentioned, is it foreign adversarial technology? Is it Russian? Is it Chinese? And of course, when you go through the historical documentation, certainly in our country, and this documentation is official documentation, one realizes very quickly we've been seeing this technology for decades. And when you compare that to where we were, let's say in the late 1940s and 50s, we were just exploring and learning the secrets of the atom. We were unlocking its secrets. We had just entered the jet age, and we hadn't even been into space. And yet these technologies were outperforming anything and everything that we have. So if this was some sort of foreign adversarial technology that's been around for 70 years, this would be considered probably the worst intelligence failure my country has ever experienced, perhaps even eclipsing that of 9/11 on an order of magnitude. So the last option is, well, if it's not our technology and it's not some sort of foreign adversarial technology, then whose or what is it? And that's where we are now in the conversation, certainly with our lawmakers and our legislative branch and our executive branch. And so that's precisely what we're trying to figure out now is what exactly are these if they're not ours?
Louis, let me help you with that. First of all, I'd like to point out that you're full of shit. Secondly, I'd like to point out that there is documentation, official documentation, in your country, which is accessible all around the world, by the way, which show that you are full of shite. What you have to say is inaccurate. Now, here is my email response from gsc.nasa.gov earthweb, and there's me providing a photo of STS-103-734-58. There is my email reply to me. Yes, that is an official. That website is an official NASA website, and it is an official NASA image. So NASA have straight up admitted to me that this frame here is indeed NASA property. So just like old Louis just said there, when you look at the documentation, the official documentation in my country anyway. Well, we're looking at the official documentation, Louis, and this goes back to 1999, a full 8 years before ATIP was established in 2007, and a full, 9 years before you came on board to be ATIP, and for the last, from 2008 to 2017, you were trying to figure out the origins of UAPs, so it's not really working for you, is it? And what you're saying about that is the current situation is we're still trying to determine the origins, which is absolute nonsense. That was for my Aquaman joke that I thought was rather funny. Anyway, so we have NASA frame STS-103-734-58, and there is Adam. Now, you can see his finger, you can see his thumb, you can see his head, you can see his mouth, you can see his shoulder, you can see his arm, you can see his elbow, you can see his torso, you can see his nostril. You can see the big bump at the side of his head. So, what part of that is NASA still trying to identify? Well, is that a Russian there? Is that what the Russians look like? Or is that a Chinese guy? Maybe it's a half Russian, half Chinese, and that's why we can't determine what it is yet. So, Los Elizondo's claims do not stand up to scrutiny. I have official NASA records going back to 1999 that show that there was a solid structured physical craft docked beside Discovery for 8 hours on December the 25th, 1999. And I will be publishing all this evidence, this documentation, official documentation from your country, Louis. So I just find it incredible that you worked for the Pentagon for all these years and no one from NASA decided to go, oh, you're trying to figure out what UAPs are? Hold on, we'll just send you this stuff over because that will help you answer it. We've actually been working with them for years. So yeah, my research shows that Los Elizondo has a big, massive black hole at the centre of his statements and what he's trying to convey to the public. So it's completely inaccurate, it's wrong, it's misinformation, lies, and propaganda. Because it's Louis' job to convince the UFO community that the government do not hold all the answers. But their own documentation, official documentation from your country, basically puts a big stop sign in the middle of the road as far as your comments and your statements are concerned. So when you say that you're still trying to figure it out now, here in 2022, that's bullshit, just going by NASA's own public records, official records from your country. So think long and hard about what you're saying, because it doesn't make sense.